For over 25 years, Eiichiro Oda has locked the global One Piece fandom into an intense game of narrative hide-and-seek. We have spent decades scouring the margins of manga panels, overanalyzing SBS columns, and obsessing over a single terrifying question. Where are the ancient weapons? We know Poseidon isn't a mechanical construct, but a living mermaid princess sleeping in the depths of Fishman Island, capable of commanding the Sea Kings to tear continents apart. We know Pluton is a catastrophic battleship, a terrifying relic of the Void Century, locked away deep beneath the volcanic, submerged walls of old Wano country. But what if the ultimate counterweapon, the ship capable of fighting the original Pluton to an absolute standstill, isn't hidden at the bottom of the sea? What if it isn't locked behind massive ancient stone gates? What if it has been sitting right under our noses the entire time? What if the Thousand Sunny isn't just a cheerful dream ship designed to carry the next king of the pirates? What if it is in reality Pluton 2.0?
Think about the way Oda constructs his universe. He is a master of hiding monumental, world-shaking truths in plain, unassuming sight. He hid the true nature of Luffy's mythical Zoan devil fruit for a quarter of a century under the guise of a simple, comical rubber paramecia. He hid Sanji's identity as a genetically engineered prince for decades behind a simple running gag about a bounty poster. So ask yourself a logical question. Why would the main ship of the Straw Hat Pirates, the vessel destined to reshape history, just be a normal, albeit highly durable, pirate ship? To unlock this mystery, we have to travel back in time to the burning ruins of Enies Lobby. We have to look at the exact moment a cyborg named Franky did the absolute unthinkable. He held the blueprints for Pluton, the most destructive naval vessel in human history. A ship said to be capable of vaporizing entire islands in a single devastating salvo. The world government was willing to launch a buster call, commit mass murder, and slaughter thousands of people just to look at those pages. And what did Franky do? He set them on fire. He let them burn to ash right in front of the eyes of CP9. But here is the massive twist we all overlooked. Franky doesn't just have a brilliant mind. He has a cyborg's brain. He's an absolute genius shipwright who spent years of his life studying those exact technical blueprints, line by line, gear by gear. Do you really believe a man like Franky just forgot those designs? Or did he do what any master craftsman would do when tasked with building his ultimate masterpiece? He built those forbidden secrets directly into the framework of the Thousand Sunny. To understand why the Thousand Sunny carries the legacy of an ancient weapon, we have to re-examine why the Pluton blueprints existed in the first place. They weren't just a manual on how to rebuild the ancient ship. They were something far more tactical. Tom, Franky's legendary mentor, kept those papers hidden from the world government at the cost of his own life. The original Pluton was constructed during the Void Century by the master shipwrights of Water 7. It was an apocalyptic vessel built to protect the ancient kingdom. But the shipwrights didn't just leave a weapon behind. They deliberately left blueprints for a second battleship. Why? Because they were realists. They knew that if the original Pluton ever fell into the wrong hands, if a tyrannical dictator or the oppressive world government ever dug it up, the world would be completely defenseless. The blueprints were explicitly designed to create a countermeasure, a Pluton 2.0 meant to fight the original to a standstill and save humanity from total annihilation. When Franky burns those papers in Enies Lobby, he explicitly states that he is betting everything on the Straw Hat Pirates. He trusts them to stand against the dark forces of the world. But look at what happens immediately after the Judicial Island burns.
Franky doesn't just rest. He takes the legendary atom wood, which he purchased using the Straw Hat's stolen money, locks himself away, and works day and night in a feverish state of inspiration to build the Thousand Sunny.
Let's look at the actual engineering of the Sunny compared to every other pirate ship on the Grand Line. It is completely anomalous. It defies standard naval logic. It isn't just a boat. It is a modular, weaponized fortress. Consider the soldier dock system. Built into the center of the ship is a massive, revolving turntable mechanism that effortlessly houses mini submarines, jet skis, and literal armored battle tanks. How does a single shipwright design an interlocking, hyper-efficient, modular mechanical system like that from scratch in just a few days? The answer is simple. He didn't design it from scratch. He scaled down the internal structural layouts of the Pluton blueprints he spent years memorizing. But the most damning evidence of this inheritance lies in the ship's primary offensive weapon, the Gaon Cannon. Located inside the mouth of the smiling lion figurehead, the Gaon Cannon fires a terrifying, destructive blast of highly compressed air that can wipe out an entire fleet of marine battleships in a single flash. Every single time the Sunny fires this weapon, it rocks the entire vessel, forcing the ship to use its rear engine just to stabilize the immense kinetic feedback. Doesn't that sound exactly like a miniature, scaled-down version of a weapon described as being able to vaporize an entire island? Franky didn't just build a dream ship to carry his friends. He built a stealth battleship. He disguised the ultimate global counterweapon as a cheerful, smiling cartoon lion. But if the Sunny has the bones, the structure, and the weapons of an ancient weapon, why hasn't it broken the world's balance of power yet? Why is it currently just a really good pirate ship instead of an unstoppable force of nature? The answer lies directly inside the fuel tank. Let's talk about the funniest, most brilliant piece of narrative misdirection Eiichiro Oda has ever pulled off in the pages of One Piece. Cola. Franky runs on cola. The Thousand Sunny runs on cola. As the audience, we laugh it off because this is a whimsical manga where a cyborg gets his super strength from carbonated soft drinks. It's a great gag. But from a strict storytelling perspective, cola serves a massive hidden narrative purpose. Cola is a limiter. Think about the sheer mind-bending physics of what the Thousand Sunny achieves using nothing but soda. To perform a coup de burst, the ship fires a massive explosion of compressed energy from its rear cannon, launching a multi-ton, armored wooden battleship miles into the sky, completely breaking the laws of gravity and escaping standard naval combat entirely. To fire the Gaon Cannon, it channels that exact same intense pressure forward through its lion figurehead. To do this, the Sunny expends 3 entire barrels of cola, just for a few brief seconds of power. Now, look at this from a purely scientific and logical perspective within the world of One Piece. If a standard, sugary, carbonated beverage can generate enough raw force to push a massive wooden battleship through the stratosphere and shoot laser-like blasts of compressed air, what would happen if you fed that exact same engine actual, concentrated, hyper-potent energy? The truth is glaringly obvious. Franky engineered the Sunny's engine core to utilize immense pressure, energy displacement, and raw kinetic output. But as an outlaw shipwright hiding from the absolute surveillance of the world government, Franky couldn't exactly stroll up to a marine base and steal top-secret military power sources. He couldn't buy experimental fuel on the black market without alerting the Gorosei. He needed something highly accessible, highly volatile under pressure, completely unassuming, and entirely legal. He adapted the majestic, world-ending Pluton framework to run on the most ridiculous fuel source possible, so that absolutely nobody would suspect its true nature. If a Marine admiral looks at a ship running on soft drinks, they laugh. They don't see a threat. They don't see an ancient weapon. The Gaon Cannon we see today isn't operating at its true potential.
It is a heavily nerfed, dialed-down version of Pluton's primary battery. It is the equivalent of putting regular unleaded fuel into a rocket ship engine. It will sputter, it will cough, and it might move a little bit, but it is never going to reach orbit. The Thousand Sunny is currently operating at roughly 1% of its true capacity. It is a sleeping mechanical giant waiting for the right spark. And thanks to the mind-blowing revelations of the Egghead Island arc, we finally know exactly what that spark looks like. Welcome to Egghead Island, the arc where Eiichiro Oda completely shattered our understanding of technology in the One Piece world. For the longest time, the global audience believed Dr. Vegapunk was building the future. We saw holograms, light pressure gloves, and floating islands, and assumed Vegapunk was looking forward. But Vegapunk himself corrected us in a moment that changed everything. He isn't looking forward at all. He is looking backward. Egghead Island isn't futuristic. It is merely a flawed, desperate attempt to replicate the highly advanced, forgotten past of the Void Century. During this arc, Vegapunk introduces us to his greatest source of shame and wonder, the Great Iron Giant. This is a colossal mechanical warrior that climbed the Red Line and attacked the Holy Land of Mary G. Waz 200 years ago. Vegapunk explicitly states that the construction of the Iron Giant completely defies modern science. He confesses that even with his planetary intellect, his infinite government funding, and his massive laboratory, he cannot replicate the power source that moves it. He calls it the ancient energy. This is the absolute missing link to our theory. If the Iron Giant, which was constructed 900 years ago during the peak of the Great Kingdom, ran on an extinct mythical energy source, then the original Pluton must have run on that exact same energy source. The Ancient Kingdom didn't build a legendary, world-shaping battleship to run on wind, coal, or simple steam. They ran it on the ultimate power source of their era, the ancient energy. During the absolute climax of the Egghead Island incident, something miraculous, historical, and deeply telling occurred. The Great Iron Giant, which had been completely dormant, dead, and rusting away in a scrap heap for 2 centuries, suddenly sparked to life. Its ancient mechanical eyes lit up with a brilliant glow. Its internal gears began to turn after 200 years of absolute silence. What activated it? It wasn't electricity. It wasn't a spark plug. It wasn't a drop of the mother flame. It was the drums of liberation. It was the literal, rhythmic, reality-bending heartbeat of Monkey D. Luffy in his Gear 5 Sun God Nika form. Oda explicitly confirmed through Vegapunk's realization that the ancient energy of the Void Century isn't just oil, plasma, or nuclear power. It is directly, inextricably tied to the power of the Sun God Nika. The heartbeat of absolute liberation is the power source of the Great Kingdom. It is an infinite energy generated by imagination, freedom, music, and joy. Now, let's project this directly into the epic, looming endgame of One Piece. The Straw Hat Pirates are sailing toward the final cataclysmic war for the fate of the world. They are facing the ancient, terrifying original Pluton, which might be excavated, controlled, and unleashed by the world government, Emu, or the Blackbeard pirates. They are staring down a colossal dark battleship capable of vaporizing an island with a single breath. How does a single pirate crew fight back against an ancient weapon? Luffy steps onto the grassy deck of the Thousand Sunny. He faces the threat, throws his hands into the air, and activates Gear 5. The drums of liberation begin to echo violently across the choppy waves of the sea. The Thousand Sunny's engine doesn't just start to rumble, it completely wakes up. The lion figurehead's eyes snap open, lighting up with the exact same brilliant, ancient glow as the Iron Giant. The restrictive cola tanks are instantly bypassed as the pure, unadulterated, reality-bending energy of the sun god courses directly through the atom wood framework of the ship. The Gaon Cannon charges, no longer with simple compressed air, but with the catastrophic, blinding light of the ancient kingdom's lost technology. The coup de burst doesn't just launch them away from danger like a fleeing prey. It allows the entire battleship to practically take flight, dancing, bouncing, and soaring through the clouds just like Nika himself. This is the ultimate reason why the ship is named the Thousand Sunny. When Vice Admiral Garp was chasing the crew out of Water 7, Iceberg and Franky stood together and revealed the name of the vessel to the world. They stated that it represents a magnificent ship capable of sailing through 1,000 harsh seas like a bright, shining, unstoppable sun. It was never just a poetic, cheerful name given to a pirate ship. It was a literal, structural prophecy written by Eiichiro Oda. The Sunny is mechanically built to be powered by the sun god. It is the ultimate vessel designed to survive the final war and bring about the long-awaited dawn of the world.
If this theory holds true, it completely recontextualizes how we view the final war of One Piece. It masterfully resolves the massive narrative dilemma of Franky burning the Pluton blueprints during the Enies lobby arc. Why would Oda spend an entire massive saga emphasizing that a counter-weapon to Pluton must exist to protect the world, only for those vital documents to be turned to ash and forgotten forever? He wouldn't. The blueprints weren't destroyed out of carelessness. They were realized. They were hammered, sawed, and built directly into the very wood that Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and the rest of the crew stand on every single day of their journey. The original Pluton, trapped deep beneath the dark, stagnant waters of Wano country, represents the tragic past, a cold relic of war, buried in darkness, constructed out of a fear of mass destruction. The Thousand Sunny represents the glorious future, a vibrant replica built out of love, camaraderie, shared dreams, and the pursuit of absolute, unbridled freedom. When the final battle for the ultimate fate of humanity begins at the edges of the Grand Line, it won't just be a political battle between pirates and the Marines. It will be a technological and philosophical battle between the old world and the new. It will be the ancient, terrifying, island-destroying battleship Pluton versus the radiant, unstoppable Pluton 2.0, the Thousand Sunny, completely supercharged by the eternal, joyful flame of the Sun God Nika.
Oda has laid out all the pieces on his narrative chessboard. The blueprints, the atom wood, the cola limiters, the ancient giant, and the rhythmic heartbeat of liberation. All that is left is for the final spark to hit the engine. But what do you think? Is Franky really hiding the mechanical schematics of an ancient weapon inside a cola-powered cartoon lion? Will Luffy's legendary heartbeat be the ultimate key to unlocking the Sunny's true world-shaking power? Or does Eiichiro Oda have an even crazier, more unpredictable twist waiting for us at the very end of the Grand Line? Let me know your deepest theories, thoughts, and breakdowns in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden lore of the Void Century, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more massive One Piece theory drops, and turn on notifications so you never miss a revelation. Thank you for tuning in, stay curious, and as always, keep searching for the truth. See you all in the next video.